Hey there, Shecky again with another review. This time I'm reviewing this stylus Streamlight. Streamlight Stylus. Um, Wanted to just make a few points about it and hopefully give you some information if you're looking for something in this kind of genre. Maybe it'll answer some questions for you. Just to go over kind of the parts and pieces of it. Comes with this, I think it's called a focus hood. For me, it basically protects the LED there at the top, so I leave it on. I kind of played with it and realized that it does not add a great deal of length to the overall package, so I figured it was a reasonable compromise to protect that LED. I don't know if you can see it in there. Maybe if I turn on, yeah, it doesn't. It rides fairly deep in that sleeve. You have a pocket clip. I'd say it's alright. I mean, it's adequate for what it does. I don't actually use it. If you saw in my sub EDC video, I put it in this little guy here, and it rides right in there. I don't clip it to anything. I tried clipping it on to this pocket here, but it actually stretches it a little further than I like. So, and it's really secure where it is. So, relatively nice pocket clip for what it is. And then you have the battery top, and then your actuation button. This works like most, I'd say, inexpensive LED flashlights. It's got a momentary on. You can see that there. As I push the button, the light comes on. I can unscrew this to such an extent that the button will no longer function. You just kind of have to find that spot. And for some people that's important if you're carrying it in a way that you don't want it to actuate at all. There, now I got nothing. And then also, of course, if I tighten it up fully, eventually I have an always on, and I don't have to actuate the button at all. The button doesn't actually do anything. It won't move at this point. I usually just give it a couple of turns. That makes it difficult enough to press the button that it doesn't accidentally get actuated. As far as the batteries, this is kind of an interesting point. I'm not sure if you knew this. I'm not a junkie, but this actually runs on 3 quadruple A batteries. I'm not a big flashlight guy, like I said, so I wasn't aware that they even had quadruple A. These are Simple Energizer brand. They're alkaline. I haven't had to replace these yet. I've looked up online. They're not too expensive. They're certainly more expensive than, triple A's or double A's, but they're manageable price-wise. And just as you'd expect, they just slide up into the flashlight. And you'll notice you do have an O-ring there for some water repelling qualities. I don't know how much I dunk this underwater, but it certainly should be able to handle a certain degree of water exposure. The light, as you can see, I don't know how well you can see it. It's relatively focused. I haven't noticed any real difference. I guess you really do. The hood kind of prevents the wash. It doesn't make it any more intense, but it prevents that kind of wash out, and that's fine with me. I use a pretty tight spot most of the time. If you are in need of a flashlight, a small flashlight, this is a really great option. Now, I mentioned in that EDC that I did have one negative about it, and that's the overall length. This is a capped pin, and if you'll notice, this is a relatively long pin. I would have liked to have seen this smaller. I would have liked to have seen it, the equivalent of like a clicker pin. So one thing I was wondering is if this would run a reasonable amount of time on 2 quadruple A batteries instead of 3. That would certainly take a good bit of size off. The way I carried it for a while was in a pen pocket in my coat, and it just stuck way too far out. It was unruly, and because the clip doesn't go up very high, you can't sink it really deep. You end up with a lot of it showing. So just something to keep in mind. It certainly is one of the best small pens. I actually bought this one at a brick and mortar. Surprise, surprise. I bought it at Cabela's. I believe it was $15 at the time. I'm not sure what it is now, but it's certainly a decent deal. And if you need a good light source that's got some staying power and is bright for what it is, I would definitely recommend this guy. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite light duty flashlights. So I hope you enjoy the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment and I'll get back to it as quickly as I can. Thanks.